Aquarius workshop, understanding the duality between idealization and rejection. I start with a quote from Pathwork Lecture 85 with the title Distortions of the Instincts of Self-Preservation and Procreation. And the quote is as follows. Your soul believes in order to preserve its life and safety, you have to fight against the illusions of rejection in any form. This fight assumes various forms. One of them is the establishment of the idealized self-image. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 85. Children are rejected by their educators when they behave naughtily and receive affection when they are good. Out of fear of even more pain, the child thinks he can protect himself by creating an idealized self-image. The child doesn't realize that an idealized self-image based on selfishness, greed and lovelessness provides the very pain and rejection it tries to avoid. As adults, we still live under the assumption that this idealized self-image will protect us from the pain of rejection. But to the extent that we cling to an idealized self-image of perfection, we reject imperfection from ourselves and others with an intolerant attitude. We do not realize that it is impossible to live up to the unreasonably absurd expectations and high demands of the idealized self-image. It is only when we see the truth that the idealized self-image does not give us happiness, pleasure and security, but only harm, inattention, self-hatred and self-rejection, that we can let go of the burden of this idealized self-image. Without the idealized self-image, which is the mother of all images, we experience an unprecedented sense of freedom because we accept ourselves on the basis of real values and dare to be authentic. We feel reborn, peaceful, and at home with ourselves because we are connected to the true self, and we no longer hide anything from others or ourselves. By dissolving the idealized self-image, we have taken an important step in overcoming the duality. In this workshop we will explore, with a loving curiosity, 3 fundamental themes of the Pathwork Lectures regarding the duality between idealization and rejection. The first theme, recognize idealizing and rejecting others. Out of lack of self-esteem, we resort, as self-defense or protection, on the one hand to a rejecting and judgmental attitude towards people with whom we feel insecure. On the other hand, we idealize people we know, love or admire us. Both rejection and idealization are the same childish emotional reactions we used to have towards parents, because seeing their imperfection was unbearable to us. Both subjective attitudes, idealizing and rejection, are 2 sides of the same coin. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 42. Many human beings are very severe with those by whom they feel unloved and criticized, or at least not secure. Then their defense is their own severity with them. If you rest secure in your value, you will not feel insecure, and therefore you will develop a natural tolerance. But most of you are still so insecure that you resort to such defective defense measures. It falls into the same category of blindly idealizing the person of whom love you do feel secure. In such cases, you do not see the very trends you object to most strenuously in other people. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 42. The second theme. Let go of your idealized self-image. We have chosen the idealized self-image as a solution to survive. We fear letting go of this idealized self-image, and we are angry when others or life prevent us from hiding behind this idealized self-image. Dissolving the idealized self-image is the only way to find the true self, serenity and self-respect, and live life to the fullest. It should be clear that true self-confidence can only arise when the entire construction of this ruthless tyrant, who is the idealized self-image, is removed. The next quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 89. If you learn to accept the reality of yourself instead of your mistaken self-image, the strength of negative emotions will abate. Yes, you will, of course, experience negative emotions, but you will never fear that they can lead you toward a lack of self-control. Let me put it this way. The strong impact of negative emotions, to the degree of fearing that you are unable to handle them, is due not so much to their existence per se, but due to the lack of acceptance on your part that you are not your idealized self. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 89. The last and third theme. Acceptance merges the duality. The misconceptions of the duality between idealization and rejection seem to control us. These misconceptions rob us of the beauty, richness, and abundance of the true self. To find oneness with the true self, it is important to recognize that 1. Living and being happy does not depend on the affirmation of others. 2. We don't have to be extraordinarily the best or special to survive. 3. The forcing desire for approval makes us feel lonely and confused because we feel resentful of our dependency and guilt of our rulership. 4th, others only love us when we don't want to be better than them, and we stop rejecting them. 5. Love comes to us when our lives no longer depend on it. The last quote stems from Pathwork Lecture 143. The only way you can truly enter into the unitary state of life is which you can truly be master, is by no longer needing to triumph, to win, to be separate, to be special, to be right, to have it your way, by finding and discovering the need in all situations, whatever they are, whether you deem them good or bad, right or wrong. Needless to say, that does not mean resignation, nor does it mean fearful giving in or weakness. It means going with the stream of life and coping with what is as yet beyond your immediate control, whether or not it is according to your liking. It means accepting where you are and what life is for you at this moment. End of quote from Pathwork Lecture 143. I wish you peace and all the best. Thank you.